oftentimes when we think about prescription drugs, we think about the pharmaceutical industry. And certainly the pharmaceutical industry is the primary source of the prescription drug arena. However, they are not the primary driver of the prescription drug business. We might think that they are, but they're not. In the early 1960s, late 1950s, there came to be a new sector of the pharmacy world called the PBM, or Pharmacy Benefit Manager. Now, the Pharmacy Benefit Manager for nearly 50 years stood as an independent entity whose sole responsibility and fiduciary responsibility was to the patient. Their job was to effectively serve as the wholesale arm between the pharmaceutical industry, who is manufacturing the drug, and the corner of Happy and Healthy, who is selling you the drug to each individual, the retail pharmacy. And they came about in the late 50s and early 60s in large part because of this significant movement of prescription drug companies. So as new prescription drugs found their way to the market, there became this challenge with how do we negotiate with them? How do we buy in bulk? How do we manage the process flow of drugs from the manufacturer to the end user through the insurance entity who is ultimately paying for them? And so thus, pharmacy benefit managers were born. And they served a very important role at first, because they did serve as that aggregator, that group that would say, hey, let us make sure that we're buying a certain number of these drugs and dispersing them appropriately so that at the end of the day, the patient can get it, the insurance company can pay for it, and that the system is in balance. Fast forward to today, and they have certainly perverted their role. And their fiduciary responsibility by no means can be established by saying that they are thinking about the patient first, at least not for the most part. There are today in the United States something near, I think the last number I saw was 300 pharmacy benefit managers. You can quite literally throw a rock and hit one. However, there are 4 pharmacy benefit managers in the United States today that manage the distribution of over 80% of all drugs. So if there are 300 PBMs, these are the wholesalers that are negotiating the pricing of drugs. There are 4 that control 80% of the market. This is where it gets fun. Those 4 are CVS, Express Scripts, Optum, and Prime. These 3 companies control now 80% of all legal drug distribution in the United States. As my friend Ziad Rabai refers to them, they are, in effect, the U.S. legal drug cartel. Now, I'm not going to demonize them completely, because sometimes you need them to be your friends. But we do certainly have a problem when 4 companies control 80% of the market distribution. We have a bigger problem when all 4 are now owned by or own health insurance companies. Express Scripts is owned by Cigna. CVS owns Aetna. Optum is owned by United Healthcare, and Prime Therapeutics is owned by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. These 4 companies are managing your drug spend.